last night I went to check the mail, and these two little girls, I don't know how long they've been living in the park. I've seen so many kids come and go, grow up and then go. It's not even funny. I looked into her eyes, and when she was selling me candy, all I could think was, her innocence isn't gonna last. Not in this society. By the time she's 13, she'll probably have sex 5 or 6 or 8 times. And society thinks that's appropriate, and it's not. You don't even get to enjoy your innocence, your youth. Because gender stupidity on both sides. Both sides set up, like, oh, somebody succeed, and then they do it. Ric Flair chop block. Knock them on their ass because they don't want them to succeed. They get so angry. And they endorse poverty. My father worked since he was 15 till he was in his 40s. In 1989, he had a cave-in happen on the construction site that fucked up his ankle. The doctor, who was one of those stupid goddamn privatized doctors, fucked up his workers' comp form, so he couldn't get workers' compensation until he could work again. So the construction company let him go, and he was forced to get Social Security disability. And the disability check was so pathetic that he had to get 4 part-time jobs just so he could feed us. That's how ignorant society is. All my life I've had to fight people, especially middle-class people. They think, oh, there's no poverty problem. Let's get weed legalized. Tax it. Big tobacco's not gonna let that happen. They'll let the liberals think that all's good and well. Then they'll swoop in with these, hidden laws or attaches to laws. And then in 25 years, they'll own all the pot in the damn world. And they'll be flipping their middle fingers at the liberals because the liberals think they know everything and they don't know shit from their asshole. They don't bother and learn from their mistakes. They got their nose stuck up in the air and their head up their ass just like the other side does at times. It's just terrible how we treat each other. All my life I got picked on because I was overweight. Oh, you're ugly, you're overweight, you're fat, you're stupid, all that shit. When I started training myself to be a writer, and I knew I was getting good, the insults just kept pouring on. Because there were writers in the fan fiction community who got so upset because I was getting so good because I was working so hard at it. They would just shit all over me. And then they would admit that I was getting so damn good that it was scary. And that's the problem. Instead of, talking things out, being positive, being there for each other, society gives in to its primal instincts of jealousy, of hatred, of sexual lust. I chose to remain a virgin. I chose it. There were opportunities, but I didn't want it. I wasn't old enough to make such decisions. Do you know how many teenagers have sex? And when they have sex, just like adults, the guys don't like the condoms, the women don't like the condoms, and because birth control gives them cancer, they go free ball. Then they either get an STD or they get pregnant. So they're stuck with a baby they're not ready for, and they're, you know, all whatever career opportunities they had, they can kiss them goodbye. They're not going to be able to do it because they're held back by supporting the kid. You know, and what's worse is because of how harsh society is, they turn to drug use. Oh, pot, you know, it's not going to hurt you. Pot is something that gradually hurts you. The chemical goes into your brain where the dopamine center responsible for the chemicals that have to do with your emotions. Dopamine is that chemical that goes through your nerves and stuff. So when you have certain stimuli, that dopamine triggers. The dopamine, by the sensation, you know, like if certain sensations are triggering sadness, dopamine's released. Anger, dopamine's released. Shit like that. Wheat pot releases that chemical without any stimulation, and it's releasing it constantly. So that part of the brain swells over the years, and the people who smoke it constantly get brain damage. And anybody that says, "Oh, you know, I would know if I have brain damage," they won't. They won't. They can't even tell that their writings become so horrible that nobody can read it. They can't understand nothing. I've seen people who've abused alcohol with pot, and they become so mind fried they can't read. You know, if you're talking to them, they don't understand what you're saying. It's like they've lost almost half of their brain functions, and they're always hostile, always itching for a fight, and they have such limited capability of having other emotions because their brain was damaged from all that use. The brain that's responsible for their emotions. I worry about the future. You know, as long as people live in denial, you know, there's always going to be suffering in this world. Always. And the only thing that can change is people realizing, focus on yourself. That's what you should be focused on. If somebody else is succeeding, don't fucking try and shoot them down and stuff. Focus on yourself, because you're the only one that can make things work for yourself. Toppling somebody else isn't going to make things better for you. It's not how it works. It's never how it works. You have to learn from your mistakes. I know. I'm losing weight. My arms are getting muscular because I've been doing yoga, because I changed how I eat, you know, and it was hard for me to do, but I do it. It's the only way society's ever going to get better, if it's stop blaming you, him, her, you know, is self-admittal of their own mistakes. That's what Bill Clinton said. That's why I'm a Bill Clinton Democrat, and I'll be one till the day I die. Just think about that. Think about that before you look at somebody else who's succeeding, because he's busting his ass, and you're not succeeding because you might not be working as hard. End of message.